Hey guys, I'm Arrington Thompson, and this is Old School Guys talking old school music. I have my good friend and two-time Grammy Award-winning bassist Larry Fulcher. Larry, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm really happy to have Tiran on here, man. This is way cooler than cool.
Tyran,
Also two-time Grammy Award-winning bassist.
I was,
Um,
I was, I was, I was getting to that. Tyran has also won two Grammys, and he was the bassist for the famous legendary group, the Doobie Brothers. Tiran Porter, welcome to Old School Guys. Thank you so much for
Hello
doing
there.
this. So, when did you first get interested in playing the bass? You grew up in Los Angeles. So how did you catch that?
Saw the Beatles on TV. When that looks like fun. And all those girls are screaming. I think I want to do that.
So did your first bass, was it left-handed like Paul McCartney's, or no?
No, I'm right-handed. I'm right-handed, but it was a Japanese bass that was really hard to tune.
okay, I gotta ask you what brand, because my first one was an airline from I think Montgomery Wards.
Uh, Airlines actually were pretty good. This was a high school.
I remember him well. I remember him well.
It sucked big time.
But
Were
if
you
you could,
ever go ahead?
if you could make one of those work, then when you got to a good bass, it should have gotten a lot easier. You had paid some dues.
Well, the next page was the precision.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
So tell me how you got involved with the Doobie Brothers.
That's a long story.
Do you have the Cliff Notes?
If it hadn't been for the guys that I met the very first night I played in public, I would never have been in the Doobies.
Wow.
You never know how those things happen, do you?
Great.
As I remember around that time too, I also grew up in Southern California, and it was kind of time to get out. In Northern California, it seemed to be like where it was at. There was a lot more music to be played, just wanting to play, as opposed to having to deal with LA being LA.
Well, I stayed in LA as long as I possibly could, and when the time came to escape, I did.
I gotta ask, I love hitchhiking. Did you drive?
I, I took a plane, and then about a week later, I went back to LA, and my dad helped me move all my stuff up.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool.
That's really nice, because my father, he did help me move also. That's absolutely great. So let's talk about a little bit about the first tune that I have picked out, and it's one of the all-time great hits from the Doobies. It was written by Tom Johnston, and it's
And me,
listen and you.
yes, I wrote the
Uh,
chorus. I wrote the chorus, although he denied it.
so we will go ahead and let's listen to a piece of that.
Don't you feel it growing day by day? People getting ready for the move. Some are happy, some are sad. Oh, we gotta let the music play. What the people need is a way to make them smile. It ain't so hard to do if you know how. Gotta get 'em there.
So Tyron, tell me a little bit about this tune.
Well, Tom brought it into the rehearsal room one afternoon and said, "Listen to this chord progression I came up with." And he played it. We started playing along. And after five or six repeats, I went, "Well, what do you think about this for a chorus?" Oh, listen to the music. Oh. And he went, "Perfect." took it home, wrote the rest of the song around it that night, and never gave me credit.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm sorry about that because I
Yeah.
think the chorus actually makes the song. I
I
really
know,
do.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's
Me
what
too.
that's what people latched on to, man. And as being up in Northern California at that time, one of the things that struck me is you guys were in tune,
Hmm.
which wasn't necessarily a prerequisite.
Well, we didn't have tuners back then either, remember?
I know, but you guys were impeccably in tune. So this is cool. Yeah, man.
I have nearly perfect pitch.
Oh, see, you were cheating.
Yeah. And I've got whatever the opposite of perfect pitch is, that's what I have. So when you recorded this and it was finished, what did you think of the song? Did you think it was going to do what it did, or did you think
I thought we got a hit here.
so it was no surprise to you that this was not just a hit but a mega hit?
Not to me.
Absolutely great. Now, who came up with the idea of that? I guess you have that chorus, or actually bridge, I guess, that is what phased, I guess you would call it.
Mhm. Yeah, well, that bridge was there, but it was Ted Simpleman and our engineer John Landee who decided to phase it.
What do you think? Because I think that's, again, it makes the song incredibly unique. I can't think of anything else in that time frame where you had that.
Hmm. It works.
It does work. It does work. Let's transition
And
to
also that's Pat Simmons singing on that part, not Tom.
really.
Hmm.
Pat's a really good singer, man, and really good guitar player, man. I appreciate his musicianship. So did you guys start? I'm sorry. Did you start off with two drummers?
We started off with one drummer, John Hartman, and then we were jamming around San Jose State one day, and we went into we had a gig at San Jose State that night, and Hotak had his drum kit there and said, "Hey, can I sit in with you?" He sat in, and we went gangbusters.
Yeah, man. It really it made y'all even more unique. Besides the fact that you were writing good tunes and you were singing and playing in tune, um, like I said, which wasn't always a prerequisite for Northern California bands at the
Well,
Let's
most everybody else was too to stay in tune.
time.
but we're going to listen to Another Park, Another Sunday, which is another tune that that Tom Johnston wrote.
I think it's the best tune he ever wrote.
Here it goes.
Just sitting in the room, staring out the window and wonder where you go. Thinking back on the happy hours just before the dawn. Outside the wind is blowing.
That's Another Park, Another Sunday. A wonderful tune. What are your thoughts on that, and why do you think that tune has such a nice? It's a wonderful feel to it.
Well, a little bit of background. Right after he cut the basic tracks for this song, Mike Hossack left the band, and right in the middle of a rehearsal to go on the road. So we had to do some quick thinking, and we got Keith Knudsen in, and he's a good drummer, but he also sings. So Mike's playing drums on that, and Keith is part of the vocal ensemble.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Larry.
You mentioned San Jose State. Were you cats? I mean, were the guys students here, or just you living in San Jose, and that's where you guys?
We were living in San Jose.
Yeah. Okay.
Our practice house was on 12th Street in San Jose. Now it's being made into a historical landmark.
Oh man.
Nice. That's
Congrats.
outstanding.
Congrats.
That is outstanding.
Now,
Let's.
one thing about Blackwater, Larry, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when my bass comes in, on the second verse,
Mhm.
it's a round of Pat's guitar part.
Really?
Pat's guitar goes da 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 dum dum da 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 dum, and when I come in, it goes da 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 dum dum da 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 dum dum da 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 dum da 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 dum. It's a round. You have to listen to it real hard to hear it.
Wow. Listen,
Nobody has ever played a bass line that's a round of the guitar line.
well, now you're gonna make me listen to it. Listen to that fact, man. Do you like in those? Did you conceive of a bass part, or was it mental, or was it just feel and go with what was happening?
It was just feel.
Yeah.
I conceived of it and I played it.
On bass, man, did you have like who were your influences, or
Too
did
many to remember. Mhm.
you got it?
Let's
Way
talk.
too many to number. Who's the guy who used to play for Motown?
Jamerson.
Jamerson.
Yeah.
Yep. McCartney, Willie Weeks,
Yeah.
Jack Cassidy of Jefferson Airplane, Jack Bruce of Cream, the bass player for the Sons of Champlin.
Yes.
Let's see who else. There were a lot of good bass players.
Yeah. Yeah. They really were, and to be able to make a song groove, to be able to propel a song, I always think of the bass as the secret controller.
Yep.
I mean, you're the link between the rhythm and the melody, and I think I once described it as kind of being like a distributor cap. You know what I mean? You
Uh-huh.
take the engine and you're doing stuff that distributes the melody for the other cats to feed off of. Man, it's I love being a bass player. I
Me too.
love listening to good bass players, and you certainly are one. Appreciate you, man.
I didn't really coalesce my style until about a year before I joined the Doobies. That's when I cut my first record with another friend of mine in LA that really showcased what I was trying to do bass wise.
Mm. Did you start
It
out?
was that, huh?
Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you at all.
It was with an artist named Dave Travis, who was the first guy I ever saw live.
Mm.
And he asked me to cut a record with him back in 1970. And I said, okay. And I played, and it was a way of playing that I had never played before. And I went, oh, this is cool. It turned out to be me.
Were you using a pick then, or fingers?
Yes, I used the pick up until I left the first time in 1980. After that, just my fingers.
That was one of the things I admired about your bass playing, because man, I can use a pick to play guitar, but on a bass, I suck with a pick. You didn't suck. I admired that. You could groove using a pick.
Well, so did Paul McCartney. So did Peter Cetera with Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of good pick bass players.
Oh yeah, they were. Just I couldn't do it.
Sting still plays with a pick every now and then.
Yeah, and the guy from Yes was just the
Oh
absolute
yeah, definitely. Chris Squire.
ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous with a pick. Yeah.
All right, let's hear a song, Tiran, that you wrote. It's off of the Take It to the Streets album, Taking It to the Streets album. It's For Someone Special.
But our legs gotten better. I thought you could weather the good times. So I guess that it's hard to leave bad times and downers behind. So it came down to saying you haven't been playing for so long that our heads caked with rust and the dust of a million sad sighs. In the mornings I've tried to.
I just love that tune. That's wonderful.
Once upon a time, a fan asked me, "Is that for the woman you love?" And I said, "You weren't listening.
No, they were not.
It's about a guy, specifically a guy who was doing heroin."
Mm. Man, I was reading those lyrics today, man. It tells a story, and
Yeah, it does. It's supposed to.
yeah, it really does. And then
There's not too many songs in our playlist up until the Michael joined that deal in truth.
yeah, well, that's a good tune, man. And your bass part is something you could build a house on. You know what I mean? You could have just you drummer could have delivered that tune with you singing it, and it still would have been a really, really good tune, man.
Yeah, it was on a 1970 Precision.
Mm.
It
Well,
had a wonderful sound. It has
Which
some wonderful
I still
sound.
have.
you still have it?
Yeah.
And then now, something you may have told me, but Arrington reminded me of it. You build your own basses now, or
Yes,
have
I
you?
do. That picture I sent to you guys,
Yeah.
that's one of the ones I built.
I gotta talk to you about that off screen sometime. I'm a bassaholic. I'm a bassaholic.
You too. I
Yeah.
think I built somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 or 16 of them.
Wow. And you have them all, or did you distribute them, or you kept them?
No, I've only made two for other people. Everything else is for me
Wow.
because
How long does it take you to
regular bass builders don't build fretless basses the way I want them.
Mm-hmm.
do you
Okay.
like the sound of fretless better?
Yeah, I do. I like the sound and the feel.
Mm.
So
So,
let's talk. Go ahead, Larry.
so like things like say Minute by Minute and all of those tunes, you played all those on fretless?
No, that was all unfretted. I didn't play fretless bass with the Doobies until the last 3 shows I ever played with them. And I didn't tell them I was playing fretless. I just did the gigs, let them record it. And when John McPhee, who was mixing it, called me later, he said, "Man, you sound really good." And he said, "John, that was fretless." And he went, "You're kidding."
It's your feel, it's your approach to it, man. It sounds like you. You know, that of course it sounds like you if you made the instrument.
Well, the one that I used on those gigs was a Paul Reed Smith that I'd had the frets taken out of, and it was a 5-string.
What year was this now?
That was 1992.
Okay.
And from then on, I played fretless with my fingers.
It's a definite contact with the instrument and with the spirit of it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, brother, go on.
Let's just talk a little bit about how the band changed around 75, 76, when you brought in Michael McDonald.
McDonald. Well, we had been a hard rock heavy metal band with harmonies. That was the Doobie Brothers with Tom Johnston. When we pushed him out of the band, we needed somebody else, and Jeff Baxter knew Mike from Steely Dan. So we called him up out to New Orleans. He practiced with us for 2 days. We went back out on the road, and everybody was, "Where's Tom?" until he opened his mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
the thing that blew my mind was before that, when Tom was the lead singer of the band, I really saw our people at concerts. As soon as Mike McDonald's voice got on the air, I started seeing black faces in the audience. I was like, "Yeah!"
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. You know, Lester Abrams was a good friend of mine.
Who?
Lester Abrams.
Oh yeah.
And Lester, great.
Whatever happened to Lester?
I don't know if Lester's still with us. Lester had he had some habits.
Yeah.
But we talked about that tune, and he says that he and Michael took it as a challenge to get a shuffle on pop radio.
Uh-huh.
And they certainly succeeded, man, because that's one of the baddest shuffles.
Or you mean minute by minute?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's listen to Taking It to the Streets. We'll listen to a piece of that, and we'll talk some more about it.
Okay.
Take this message to my brother. You will find him everywhere. Wherever people live together. Tied in poverty's despair. Are you telling me the things you're gonna do for me?
That was Taking It to the Streets. Tell us a little bit about how you developed that bass line, which is absolutely killer.
Well, if you listen, Michael is hammering a G in his left hand on the piano. So there wasn't much I could do to match that. So I just started throwing in random bass notes in G until the bridge came in.
It's the melody and the timing and the power of that bass line, man, is just wicked. Just wicked. You know, it's not a stereotypical bass line, you know, it's
I'm not a stereotypical bass player.
you're not a stereotypical dude from what
And that's a good thing. That's a good
Yeah.
thing. And that's what made the tune, in my opinion, is the fact that it was not a stereotypical bass line. And when it came out in 1976, I can't think of any other bass lines that were similar. Larry, can you?
No, not really. And just from me to you, man, seeing you with the Doobie Brothers, because your record companies did not want to be bothered with a mixed band. Period. You know, something about the image. We had Sly and the Family Stone, which was a rarity.
The thing that made the Doobies unique was I was one of the only Black musicians who stood up front with the two white lead singers and sang harmonies and lead.
Yeah, that was not happening at that time period, man. So that got a lot of attention.
I'm a historical anomaly.
Well,
A
you
good historical anomaly.
but you were playing your ass off, you know. I mean, it was not, y'all didn't do it for image, you didn't do it for show. That
No, we
was
did it because the musicianship was basic and came to all of us.
yeah, and I appreciated y'all for that. And you were able to do that like in the face of whatever societal bigotry it was. And then a song like Take It to the Streets, it was in your face, but it was saying that we are together. You know what I mean? It's saying that people, you know, and you just take that message and put it out there. No matter what media, society, what anybody says. It was a good, strong, anthemic tune.
Yep. Now the next album was sort of the Living on the Fault Line was sort of a transitional album because we were trying to figure out who we were going to be.
Well, y'all were growing.
What?
And that of course that led you to your Minute by Minute album, which was an absolutely huge hit.
It was a nightmare to record.
Why is that?
Because Michael had all these songs and he didn't know what to do with them. And we must have recorded What a Fool Believes about 40 times. We kept the first half of take 8 and the second half of take 13. and Teddy spliced the tape, put them together, and it came out like that. But by the time I finished playing that song for the umpteenth time, I was sick of it. That's one of our albums I never listened to because I'm sick of playing them.
And no doubt there was no click track involved, right? Y'all,
Nope. Mm-mm.
yeah, you couldn't do that today. There'd be click tracks all over the place.
Our quick track was Keith Newton.
Yeah, you had a really good time. Now I got a question for you, personal question. Could you understand what the heck Mike was saying
When?
when he sang?
Most of the time, yeah.
But he just
I
had this,
actually go ahead.
but no, he just did this syrupy kind of. It's a great tone. It's very unique. But there are lots of times, man, I had no idea what the heck Mike McDonald was.
That's because that tone is something he's worked on for years, and he didn't work on what do you call it? His elocution.
Elocution, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you take taking it to the streets, and I think everybody knows the first line. You don't know me, but I'm your brother. And then it gets all muddled. I was raised
No.
here in this living hell, and I completely messed up that line for decades. But wonderful tune. Tell us a little bit about the title track of Minute by Minute and how that came along.
Well, that was a co-write between Mike McDonald and what was the guy's name again, Larry?
Lester Abrams.
Yeah, Lester Abrams from the band Kraken,
Right.
who were a great undiscovered band.
Well, it was the thing. One of my best friends, G.T. Clinton, played keyboards in that band, and they were in LA. There was Kraken, and there was another great band called Ball and Jack.
Yeah, I remember them.
And, but it was the thing of a mixed band, you know, like where do we put it? You got black people in the band. Does it go in the R&B section of the record store? No. Well, you can't put it in the rock section because they got black people. Well, but it's music. It's just
Well, if you remember, what's her name? She just got put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Shaka Khan?
Yeah, Chaka Khan's first band was a mixed band too.
Yeah, exactly. And her voice was so powerful. You couldn't stop. You know, once you get started, I think something like 75,000 copies.
I know.
In less than a week. You know, people heard it and just flocked to it. The music overpowered whatever bigotry there was.
When I heard first time I heard "Tell Me Something Good," I was like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
who is that?"
You heard the story of that tune, right?
Yeah, didn't Stevie write that?
Yeah, Stevie had written another tune for them that they just weren't grasping. So Stevie had everybody he said, give me about 5 minutes. Literally, you know, about 5 minutes later, they come back and Stevie down, came up with that. It was like, what the heck is that?
Let's Tiran, let's listen to your bass line in the first part of Minute by Minute, because I think
that's Michael's bass line. Everything in this song that I played is Michael's.
Okay.
I was following his left hand.
That's his bass line then.
Yeah. Ted Templeman hated the sound of round strings, so I played that one with round strings, and he didn't like it. But oh well. I refuse to play on anything else. But lately, with the fretlesses, I've gone back to flat wounds.
Was there a little bit of chorus on there, or my ears deceiving me?
Just a slight bit. You can barely tell.
Yeah, well, bass players can hear it. You know, it's very, very cool. Very cool. Man. Very cool.
All right. Well, let's listen to the same section, but with everybody, the whole band.
Mhm.
Hey, don't worry, I've been lied to. I've been here many times before. Girl, don't you worry, I know where I stand. I don't need this love, I don't need your hand. I know.
That was Minute by Minute. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tune. So what is your relationship to Michael McDonald, and have you guys kept up over the years?
We lost track of each other for a while when he was doing his solo stuff, but I've recently gotten back in touch with him. He's doing fine. We've always had a good relationship. When he first joined the band, I invited him over to my house, and I have a recording studio in my house, and he recorded the demos for 5 songs there. And we took those to Ted Templeman and convinced him that Michael should join the band.
You mean he had reservations?
Yeah, Ted had reservations.
Why did he think it would like change the direction of the band, or
Yes, he was afraid it would. And I went, yay, let's change the direction.
Well, it clearly changed the direction, and I guess from what I read, there was some apprehension that Michael McDonald had because he thought he was just going to be asked to be a piano player, and a Hammond B3 player, basically, and he said that's not who he was.
No, but that's not what we ended up wanting either. I wanted him to be another songwriter in the band because he wrote good songs.
so
I mean, the first time I heard him open his mouth to sing, I went, God.
as you would when you hear that voice, you know? Yeah. Why would you? How could you not? Very distinct voice and soulful. Yeah, and I can also,
I heard our future right there.
yeah. And you would get Black people at your shows, and all of a sudden.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely fabulous.
like I said, I discounted Minute by Minute because it was such a bitch of an album to make. Now our next album after that was my last album with the band, and that was One Step Closer. And I played the best I have ever played with that band on that album.
Wow. So, man, were you
And
tired?
if you don't think so, go home and listen to it.
I will be after we get done here. Were you just tired of the road, or just wanted a break from everything?
I wanted a break from everything. And right in the middle of recording One Step Closer, our manager booked a tour. And I said, I'm not going, Bruce. Sorry.
Tours are grueling. They really are. I mean,
We went on the road for months at a time.
oh yeah.
Hardly ever going home. And I had bought a house in the mountains that I hardly ever lived in. I mean, I bought it in '74. We didn't really live there until 1980.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Were you? Were you married at the time?
No.
Yeah, because it's rough on families. It really is. You know, that's another
One of these days, I'm going to write a book because my life has been long and very interesting. Not just the Doobie Brothers. From the moment I was put into this world, I've been different.
And that's a
Well,
good thing. We don't want everybody to be the same. Difference is good.
Now, do you remember a show called Art Linkletter's House Party?
I remember Art Linkletter. Yeah, yeah, from childhood. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those shows back around 19, say, 9, 50, 60,
It was
50,
late 50s.
say 1953 or 54. I was one of those kids on that show.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, they picked me out of my first grade class to go represent.
So what part of LA were you from? Which part of LA County?
I grew up until I was in third grade at my grandmother's house with my parents because they couldn't afford anything else off of Crenshaw.
Woo.
No, wait a minute. No, off of, not Crenshaw. What am I talking about? What was the street that went through downtown LA that had all the jazz clubs on it?
Well, there was La Brea,
No.
Rose.
Closer to downtown LA. My grandmother's address was 1215 East 50th Street.
Okay, yeah, that's a little south of downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Between downtown and and the hood.
Yeah. Now,
Not
now, when I was in third grade, my family could finally afford to buy a house. My dad bought a house in the Hollywood Hills, moved it out to Lawndale, and we settled there. I was there until after I got out of high school.
what was it like in your neighborhood?
We called it Little Watts.
Little I get it. I was in Orange County. My neighborhood was called Little Texas. For
Ooh.
the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Tiran Porter, I really, really appreciate you coming on, old school guys. This has been an absolute pleasure. Of course, we could spend easily an hour talking about more of the tunes and how you approach music, but I think that this has been wonderful. Larry, what you got words of wisdom?
Well, man, one of your best friends is one of my dearest friends over in Santa Cruz, a guy named Ken Kraft.
I know.
And if Ken and I had hooked up when we first met, late 60s, early 70s, I would have never left Santa Cruz. That's how much area, man. So good on you, man. But you were definitely somebody that I was very much aware of and very much appreciative of what you were doing and the style in which you were doing it. So man,
I've been playing with Ken ever since I first left the Doobies. That was 1980. So I've been playing with him all this time.
And I tell people he's one of the best guitar players on earth. He just is, and one of the best humans on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, man, he said that I would like you before we and I do. God bless you, man.
Well, I do the best I can under the circumstances.
Well, you've done pretty dadgum well, man. You've done pretty dadgum well.
Again, we really, really appreciate it. Tiran Porter, two-time Grammy Award-winning bassist for the Doobie Brothers. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hey, man, can't thank you enough for taking some time to do this and make it this time.
Well, I can't thank you guys enough for wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Very few times I've been interviewed specifically about my bass lines.
Well, I was talking to Ken, and he hooked us up. So, yeah, now we hooked up, man. You got a friend.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Well, thank
Take
you
care.
both.
Thank you.